If you think Tokyo automatically means blowing £300 a day, you are looking at this city through the most expensive lens possible. In this video, 10 local secrets. Real ways to cut the tourist markup, keep at least £300 in your pocket over a week, and experience Tokyo the way people who actually live here do. Starting with the mistake that costs most visitors money before they even arrive in the city. The first tourist tax is accommodation, and it starts with a misconception that you have to stay in Shibuya or Shinjuku for Tokyo to feel convenient. Hotels in those areas know exactly why tourists want to be there, and they price that knowledge into every room rate. But here is how Tokyo actually works. The city runs on one of the world's most efficient train networks. In Tokyo, Central is not about your postcode, it's about your connection. Asakusa gives you old Tokyo energy, temple streets, traditional crafts, a pace that feels genuinely different from the neon core, and easy transport access to everywhere else. Ueno gives you museum access, park space, and one of the most useful train interchange stations in the city. Ikebukuro gives you shopping, food, major station convenience, and a lively atmosphere without the same tourist markup that Shinjuku carries. And across all three areas, business hotels become your best friend. Chains like APA and Toyoko Inn are not glamorous, but they are clean, efficient, and almost always positioned exactly where you need them. A short walk from a major station, compact room, great location, a fraction of the trendy hotel price. On a 7-night trip, that difference in nightly rate adds up to a significant saving before you've spent a single yen on anything else. This one decision, where you sleep, can eliminate the single largest chunk of the tourist tax before your trip even begins. Let's kill one of the most expensive myths in Japan travel. The Japan Rail Pass is not a must-buy for a Tokyo-focused trip. The JR Pass is engineered for long-distance travel across Japan. Shinkansen bullet trains between Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima, and beyond. If your itinerary covers that kind of ground in a tight time frame, it may well pay for itself. But if you are spending most of your trip in and around Tokyo, the standard 7-day JR Pass costs around 50,000 yen. That is a serious amount of money to spend before you've bought a single meal, and for city travel alone, it almost never makes financial sense. Secret 2. For Tokyo sightseeing, the subway is what matters, and the subway is almost entirely separate from the JR network. Secret 3. Use either a Tokyo Metro tourist subway ticket or a Suica IC card. Tokyo Metro's tourist ticket covers both Tokyo Metro and Toei subway lines, which between them connect the vast majority of destinations most visitors actually use. At 1,000 yen for 24 hours, 1,500 yen for 48 hours, or 2,000 yen for 72 hours, that is extraordinary value compared to a 50,000 yen nationwide pass you'll barely use. Alternatively, a Suica or Pasmo IC card, a simple top-up contactless card, lets you tap in and out anywhere on the entire network with no planning required. Load it up, tap as you go, spend only what you use. The smart move is to plan your sightseeing days by zone rather than zigzagging across the city. Asakusa and Ueno together, Shibuya and Harajuku together, Ginza and Tokyo Station together. Move efficiently, use the subway or IC card, and you will not miss the rail pass for a single second. This one is not about a single hack. It's about how you structure the whole trip, and it saves you both money and hours. Tokyo is enormous. On a map, the distances between iconic neighborhoods look manageable. In reality, unplanned crisscrossing across the city eats transit credits and, more expensively, your time. The local approach: cluster your days. Day 1 in the east, Asakusa for the temple approach and traditional shopping streets, then Ueno for museum culture and the park. Day 2 in the west, Shibuya for the crossing and department stores. Then walk to Harajuku and on to Omotesando for the complete contrast between street culture and high fashion. Day 3, heading central. Ginza for window shopping and food. Across to Tsukiji Outer Market for breakfast. Then Tokyo Station area. Day 4 can hit the culture clusters. Akihabara for electronics and anime. Jimbocho for the extraordinary second-hand book district. You cover more ground, spend less on unnecessary journeys, and each day has a coherent character rather than feeling like a random list of stops. Zone planning is how locals think about moving through this city, and it is one of the simplest structural improvements a visitor can make. Now for the category where most visitors overspend without ever realizing it: food. The tourist assumption is that every meal in Tokyo is either expensive Michelin-level sushi or a cheap ramen from a video you saw online. Neither is an accurate picture of how most people in Tokyo actually eat. And that gap is where a lot of holiday budget disappears. Secret 5. Respect the konbini. In most countries, convenience store food is something you eat when there are no better options. In Japan, it is something people deliberately choose. The quality difference is not subtle. Fresh egg sandwiches, hot fried chicken from the counter, onigiri in a dozen varieties, bento boxes with multiple components, decent coffee, cakes, and salads, all available at any hour, at every 7-Eleven, Family Mart, or Lawson in the country. This is not your every meal strategy for a whole trip. It is your smart gap filler. The quick breakfast that means you sidestep the £15 hotel buffet, the convenient lunch that keeps the afternoon moving, the late-night snack that doesn't wreck your budget after a long evening out. Used selectively, konbini saves you money on 4 or 5 meals across the trip without sacrificing any enjoyment. Secret 6. Learn the word Depachika. Depachika is the food hall in the basement of a major department store. During the day, it looks like curated gourmet heaven. And it is. Premium sushi, fresh wagashi confectionery, tempura, bento boxes that look like art. But return in the early evening, typically after around 7 p.m, and you will start to see discount stickers appearing on prepared meals, sushi trays, salad sets, and desserts. The store wants it sold that night. That means restaurant quality food, marked down specifically because they are clearing stock before closing. This is one of the most consistent money-saving moves in Tokyo, and it feels nothing like a compromise. Secret 7. Do not overlook tiny standing noodle bars and ramen shops with ticket machines near stations. These places exist for commuters and workers, not tourists. A bowl of soba, or ramen, hot, precise, deeply satisfying, for around 600 yen to 900 yen. That is under £5 for a meal you will still be thinking about a week after you get home. In Tokyo, the best food is not always the most expensive food. Often, it's the most efficient. If this is already changing how you're planning this trip, subscribe now. This channel is built specifically for travelers who want the best version of a destination, not the most expensive one. Back to Tokyo. Tourist tax number 4. Paying for a famous view simply because a tower tells you to. Yes, Tokyo's Skytree is iconic. Yes, the city looks extraordinary from 450 meters up. And if the Skytree experience itself is important to you, that's a fair spend. But Secret 8 is this. One of Tokyo's genuinely great panoramic views is completely free. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building in Shinjuku has observatories on the 45th floor, around 202 meters high. Admission is free. Go Tokyo lists opening hours as 9:30 to 2200, with last entry 30 minutes before closing and some rotating closure days. So always verify the latest schedule before you visit. On a clear day, the view stretches across the full Tokyo sprawl with Mount Fuji visible in the distance. Not a consolation prize view, a genuinely excellent one for nothing. And the same logic applies to culture. Secret 9. Some of the most powerful Tokyo experiences carry no entrance fee at all. Meiji Jingu gives you a forested sanctuary in the heart of the city. Towering cedar trees, quiet gravel paths, and a spiritual atmosphere that feels genuinely separate from the intensity of Harajuku, just minutes away. No entry fee for the main approach and grounds. Sensoji in Asakusa gives you one of Japan's most photographed temple approaches. Market stalls, lanterns, and centuries of atmosphere. Free. Yoyogi Park on a vibrant Sunday afternoon can feel like a live open-air performance. Musicians, dancers, impromptu gatherings, and the peculiar joy of Tokyo street culture unfolding with no choreography and no ticket price. You do not need an expensive culture package to feel Tokyo deeply. Some of the city's most memorable hours cost you nothing but the train fare to get there. Secret 10. If you want fashion, skip the main retail street markup and go secondhand. Tokyo's vintage and thrift scene is not bargain bin clearance. Neighborhoods like Shimokitazawa and Koenji are internationally known for curated, well-maintained secondhand clothing, vintage denim, Japanese workwear, rare pieces from brands that no longer exist, and everyday items in excellent condition for a fraction of their original price. You come home with something genuinely unique, something that is actually connected to the city, and something you probably cannot find on any high street back in the UK. 2 categories of shopping, both of them smarter than the souvenir trap, both of them more interesting. The 10 secrets in this video are not about spending less at the cost of experiencing less. They are about spending more deliberately, cutting the price inflation that gets added to first-time visitor decisions, and redirecting that money into the things that actually stay with you. Drop your best Tokyo budget tip in the comments, and tell me which of these 10 secrets you're using first. I read every single one. If you want the full city break budget template, a breakdown sheet that maps this kind of spend smarter system onto any destination, it's linked in the description. No sign up required. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Travel smarter,